And the Chicago Blackhawks make their second selection in the first round, 19th overall. They add center Oliver Moore from the U.S. development team. Gil Martin here alongside of Hadi Kalakeche, our prospects expert. And we are now joined by Jack Bushman of Locked On Blackhawks. Jack, how do you feel about this second selection that Chicago has made? I mean, already off to a great start with Connor Bedard. What does Oliver Moore add to the equation?
Yeah, number one, the biggest thing that everyone points out is that Oliver Moore is highly considered to be the best skater in this year's draft class. And personally, I did not imagine him falling all the way down to number 19. And none of the draft rankings or any of the scouts or the websites, not many of them had him all the way down at number 19. So I didn't really think he was going to be available whatsoever, but I'm absolutely thrilled to get a player with the ability that Oliver Moore has. I think he's going to be a perfect complement to Connor Bedard. And we've heard for the past couple of months from general manager Kyle Davidson, chief scout Mike Donahue, who's gone on podcasts, and they've mentioned how they've been wanting to add speed. And with the NHL just getting faster and faster year after year, one noticeable thing that the Blackhawks have lacked for the last handful of seasons has been that high-end speed. You add that alongside Connor Bedard. Frank Nazar is another player that they added in the first round with speed last year. You can really see that this is the mold that the Blackhawks are going after. And yeah, super stoked to be adding Oliver Moore alongside Connor Bedard here in a historic first round for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Hadi, how fast is this guy?
Blazing fast. If you like Dylan Larkin, he's basically Dylan Larkin. Just fantastic speed, great in transition, really good with the puck. One of the greatest effort levels and motors in this draft. He's also got great defensive abilities, a great foundation of defensive skills that really helps him out in terms of getting pucks out of his zone quickly with control. And especially he's got the skill set of a top 10 player. He was 7th overall in my rankings, and he was neck and neck with Will Smith for me. I really hesitated between the two at 6 or 7. And in my opinion, Oliver Moore might be the more impactful of the two. Maybe not the higher scoring. I think he's got maybe 70, 80 point upside. But in terms of overall impact on the game, I think he's going to have a better impact on the game in all three zones than Will Smith will for sure. So it's just fantastic value at 19. And already just winning the lottery and getting that first overall pick was great for the Blackhawks. But adding a top 10 talent at 19th overall, I think the Blackhawks are going to be the winners out of this draft.
Okay, so Hadi, why do you think teams shied away from him and he slipped to 19?
I think it's just the size and the lack of, perceived top end upside. A lot of his skills come in flashes and come in streaks. Obviously the defensive impact and the motor and the effort level are consistent and constant, but maybe the concern was that he didn't have as high an upside as some of the other guys that were drafted before him. I'm thinking Colby Barlow, Matthew Wood, Samuel Honzek. They're bigger guys with more flashy skill sets, but for me, Oliver Moore just screams high-end top 6 center. And I'm honestly astounded he slipped this low. But obviously, you look at the size at 5'11", 175 pounds. He looks a bit smaller than that as well. And teams might have shied away for that. And probably that's the same reason that Zach Benson fell out of the top 10 as well.
Jack, you've got to be thrilled with these two picks. Couple of words to describe this first round for Chicago so far.
Yeah, I think it's just ideal to what they were planning for. And Kyle Davidson, not just the draft, but in all aspects since he's taken over as general manager, he outlined the plan and has verbalized what he wanted to do to rebuild this Blackhawks team. And he mentioned adding speed. Obviously, Connor Bedard was the no-brainer at number 1, but the skill set that Oliver Moore presents, getting him at number 19, it fits ideally, I think, with what the Blackhawks are trying to build in their forward group moving forward. So I think it's an absolutely ideal first round for the Chicago Blackhawks would be how I would describe it, Gil.
All right. Well, for more on this selection and all of the Blackhawks' other moves in the draft and free agency, tune in to Locked On Blackhawks for free on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.